Hello and happy Thursday. I hope that you guys are having a great week. I am Nancy from Nancy's Health and Wellness and Mindset Life Coaching. So I'm your life coach. How's everybody doing? This is a very spur of the moment kind of live video for you guys today. I wanted to touch on a few things. First of all, thank you so much for being a part of this community and for being respectful of the posts and commentary. I have received some really good just feedback from people on this community and from people on my YouTube channel as well. I don't devote a lot of time to my YouTube channel, and I should be devoting more time to this. Um, but things get a little crazy, and so here I am. I want to talk about mindset, and let me get these pop-ups out of here. Oh boy, they just pop up all over the place. Um, Let me adjust this real quick too. There we go. Um, and let me share this with you. This is really good. It's called Olipop. Oops, which way? This way. Olipop. I don't think you can see it, but this is like a prebiotic drink. It's supports your digestive and immune health. And no, they are not sponsoring me, but I absolutely love this stuff. It's a little spendy. It's about $2 a can if you buy it in the store. I found it at Safeway. There's very little calories, very little carbs, and little sugar. So, this is just a great drink to have after a meal. And so that brings me to one of the things I had a message from a person who is on this community, and they were sort of stuck. I'm not going to say who it is. That would be a little bit rude. So I'm just going to go with this, that this person has been working on their diet and exercise, and they're just kind of stuck and they don't know, what else to do. Um, Let me just say that I welcome any messages from this community, from people you refer. If I can help a person out with diet and nutrition, I'm willing to do that. As I've said before on this wellness site, this is a free to you and to any other viewer on this site. Um, I'm here to help you. Not everyone can afford to go to, a life coach. And since I do health and wellness and mindset, I kind of have a well rounded sort of clientele. But that doesn't mean that, everyone has to be a client. So, what I want to say first, let me take one sip of this. This stuff is amazing. I just have to say. Um, what I want to say first is, right when you're about to make, a breakthrough or level up on your weight loss or your health journey, whatever it is that you're doing, right about the time when people want to give up is when they're going to see progress. So I want to encourage people to keep going, keep moving forward. Obviously there's going to be setbacks. We are human, and we are going to make poor choices now and then, and that's going to set us back. If you're on a weight loss journey and you have a couple days of not eating well and sort of like off your diet, this is going to put you back a couple weeks. A couple days is a couple weeks. So if you look at it in those terms, it may detour you from making the wrong choices. So I've shared with you what I do, and I'm a huge champion of intermittent fasting. Now, what I do is I have a log, dry erase board, and when I when I eat during the day, I log what time it is. So, for instance, if I ate dinner at 4 o'clock last night and then the next day I don't eat anything until, 1 or 2, then that's what I log in. I don't really count like the, 16/8 or 12, you know, 12/12, whatever people want to do for fasting. I just really do what works for me. I also have eliminated a lot of meat from my diet. Um, which wasn't very hard for me to do because I enjoy vegetable dishes. Now, this isn't to say that, I'm a vegetarian or, I'm a vegan. Lord, no, I don't think I could even do vegan. Um, it's extremely healthy. The data that shows the studies of people who are on plant based diets, you really cannot dispute the data and the evidence and the science behind it. The cholesterol levels, the risk of heart disease, diabetes type 2, all of those things go down the drain when you're on a plant-based diet. You're on you're on your way to such a healthier existence. And so, for those of you who like to eat meat and will not get rid of it, maybe you're a keto fan, um, which I think keto is great. I don't think that it's a long term solution. So, that brings me back to the person that sent me the message saying they were stuck. What I like to do is I like to try out different sort of eating, you know, habits and sort of parallel them together and document what you're eating, not like a food journal. I think that's a bit tedious. And I don't think we all have the time to sit down and write every little thing that we eat all day long. It will keep you accountable for sure, but I don't think that it's really kind of a necessary thing to do. What I mean by document is keep track of the diet that you are consuming. What are you eating? Are you eliminating chicken and pork and just a little bit of, lean red meat every now and then? And then if you do this, you document it for like a good 3 weeks to a month and then see what your results are. So, I'm not one to say that the way one person is eating is better than another. We have different chemistry, our biology is different. What works for me may not work for you or for another person. And so it's really a good thing to do to write down sort of what you're doing for yourself. I also incorporate exercise and I do cardiovascular. I do a lot of strength training because I feel that when you're over 40 years old, you're losing a lot of muscle mass and your bone density is not the same. So you want to be able to lift something heavy, be it like, your upper body or your lower body or both, ideally. Um, I don't think that there's going to be a time that I would not be exercising. That being said, exercise has very little to do with weight loss. What you put on your fork has the most to do with weight loss. Now, this is something that has been studied, and I know that the exercise physiologists, sort of their camp, will disagree a little bit here and there, but it's what you put in your mouth. I have clients who have gone on certain diets that I sort of helped them out with and outlined it, and they stuck to it. They didn't have any exercise and they lost weight. Um, I do feel that exercise and nutrition should go hand in hand, and that even if you're just doing something as simple as, taking a walk, You're moving your body. I'm having a hard time breathing today. I don't know if you can tell or not. I'm having a difficult time because we've got all these wildfires where I live, and I'm 30 miles away from one of the biggest wildfires, and it's been going on for I think 6 weeks or so. It's just, and today for some reason, um, it's just thick. It looks like fog, but it's actually smoke. And I definitely feel so horrible for the people that are, affected by this and that had to evacuate their homes. I have such compassion for them, and for the people who live where I live, um it's really advisable not to go outside, and um, don't spend too much time outside. So any outdoor workout that I wanted to do today, that was not going to happen. Um, I do have a gym that I go to as well, but I don't, if I can go outside and be in nature and take in sort of, the fresh air, which we don't have right now. Um, I'm going to definitely do an outside workout. That's something that appeals to me more than standing on a treadmill or even lifting weights in the cardio weight room at my gym. I did that the other day, and then I went into the sauna, which, by the way, there are huge studies and major data that show that going into the sauna, there's so many health benefits to it. I mean, I'm not going to list every one of them, but there's major health benefits to going into the sauna. And so I did a workout the other day, and then I hit the sauna, and I only lasted um sorry, I'm sniffling too. This air quality is just kicking up all of my allergies as well. So I hope those of you who live in the Pacific Northwest near these wildfires, I hope that you are not going outside and spending too much time out there. It will kick up your allergies. It's just going to wreak havoc on you for a little bit. So, what was I saying? I was saying about the sauna. I only lasted 10 minutes in there. I can't stand the heat. I absolutely will never live in a climate that is hot. I shouldn't say never, but the chances of me, being in a climate that's really hot are pretty low. So I only lasted 10 minutes in the sauna, which is funny because when I was a kid, my dad would pick me up and we'd go to the swimming center, and he would swim laps, and then he would go sit in the jacuzzi, and then he'd go in the sauna. And I just never understood how he could take the heat, but he absolutely loved the sauna. So that's something that I'm going to try to do a few times a week and maybe work my way up to 20 minutes. um I topped out at 10 minutes, and I did watch. I watched. I clocked it. I was like, get me out of here. Um, so anyway, this is what I'm talking about. You've got to have the mindset that you can do what you don't think you can do. You've got to push fear aside. And what if this happens, and what if that happens, and what if I can't do this, and can't never did anything. Can't never did a thing. You've got to believe that you can get through it, and you can go the distance. You can, whatever your goal is, and you should have goals. You should have goals, and you should make them realistic. Realistic goals. For example, a realistic goal of mine um is to be, well, this is kind of a fun realistic goal, but to be in Hawaii again on my 50th birthday. So that is something that I am just really looking forward to, and it is a goal of mine. I hope that it's going to be achievable. And of course, if it's not, I have a plan B, so that's okay. And do that too. Have a plan B for yourself. Give yourself grace, give yourself a little bit of slack. Don't be too hard on yourself when things don't go as planned, because I don't think things ever go as planned. I mean, it's a really small percentage of what goes as planned in our lives. And think about the time that things have not worked out for you. They've worked out more for you than you can imagine if you look back on it. Um, this is also about the positive shift and having a positive mindset. And positive doesn't mean, that you're positive all the time. Everything's going to go 100% to how you've calculated it. Um, Chances are they're not going to go the way that you have dreamed up. It's just not going to go that way. And you have to be flexible enough and have the mindset of, well, we can do it tomorrow. If it didn't work out today, there's tomorrow. Hopefully. Because that's another thing. We don't know. There's an uncertainty of if we actually have a tomorrow. A lot of people go to bed and set their alarms. That's their mindset of hope. Hope for tomorrow. But not everyone makes it to tomorrow. It's a bit morbid, but it's a very realistic, thought. So we're not here infinitely. We're here, and things can change in a matter of seconds. Your whole life can change. But it's up to you to change your life. And it's up to you to stay the course on what you're doing, believe in yourself, and, have the faith that you actually need, that life requires the patience and the faith to go to the next level. When you're doing your best, people notice. When you're doing your best, it puts you to the next level. That's how this life works. So I hope that this has helped anyone out there. I know a lot of people don't make it to the end of these videos. Sometimes they're a little bit long. If you enjoyed this video, please put a like on it. If you have a comment, comment. And if you have any questions or ever want to get in touch with me, you can definitely send me a message and I will get back to you as soon as I can. But please put a like on this, and I will see you guys later next week. So take care.